every day I get grades back from Beckett. I sign on
So
there.
much
It's the
fun.
first thing I wake up at
Mail
9 in
day.
the morning. I look and I know that there's going to be at least one thing graded 5 days a week from Beckett, because we do send them a lot of stuff. There's an excitement there, and people are honestly missing out on what I perceive to be the funnest part of the hobby is sending the stuff to grading and getting the grades back. So people should take their time, go to TCG Player. We sell raw cards on our auction. We try to do our best to, have front and back photos of individual cards that are in that, $15 to $50 price range or more. Um, Buy raw cards, send them off to grade. It doesn't need to be a high grade card to make money grading it.
Right.
I grade BGS fours and fives and threes that are, Venusaurs and Blastoises and Charizards. You can make money and it makes sense to do it. And it's very fun to sit there and wait and every morning have something to check on. So
Mail day is fun, and having just big stacks of slabs, like just stacks. I love it. So I totally get it. But when it comes to getting raw cards graded, do you think every card is worth getting graded, or just the vintage, or first edition, or unlimited? How are your guys' feelings on that?
every card that's mint, that its PSA 10 value is $30 or more. I is what I do for the cheaper stuff. And then if it's 20 or more card, $20 or more card raw, it's almost always worth grading. It's just where do you grade it and how do you grade it?
Mm-hmm.
We use PSA, BGS, CGC, GMA, and a small company in California called BSG. Okay, so we use five different grading companies. We send multiple packages to each one every week. So we're getting stuff back from different places. So it's kind of, we have the luxury of being able to choose what condition it's in to send to which company. It's much harder to get a BGS 9.5 than a PSA 10. I'm sorry to tell these people that it's much harder to get a BGS 9.5 than a PSA 10, but it's much easier to get a BGS 8 than a PSA 8. And a CGC 9.5 is impossible to get. We write it off. We don't expect to get any. And when we get, 5% of them as BGS 9.5s, we're happy. Or CGC, sorry, 9.5s. We're happy with that. So it's knowing and learning the market and which company is going to give you which grade and how much you can pay to get it graded. If you had a first edition Charizard in mint condition, and let's say you were going to say declared value is $50,000, right? Nine price, you're going to say, well, it would cost you $5,000 to get that graded at PSA. It would cost you $125 to get it graded at BGS. Which one are you going to choose? You know, it's a hard thing to look at. One's
Well, especially
much cheaper.
yeah, you can even once COVID is over and they lift their restrictions, you can fly to Dallas, get a hotel room, stay there, walk it in, then wait 3 days, have some great food, have a good hotel experience, go pick up your card, and still be into it for a third of the price that it would cost you to wait 8 months sending it to PSA. So
My God.
there's definitely advantages to every company. For me, like we've CGC just started this in, was it July, I think, just started grading, and they by far have the best standards, I think, of what they're doing with the cards. I mean, their grading is spot on. They don't miss anything. Their labels I've never seen a mistaken label with them. Where PSA and BGS, they'll mess up on the labels and mislabel something once in a while. You need to send it back. But I've never seen a mistake with CGC. So I'm a big fan of them right now. They're new to this, but they've been doing comic books forever, so they do have some history with
Forever.
grading.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're doing great with trading cards, and they're coming up. They're doing sports cards soon, is the rumor. So they've hired a guy from PSA as their leader for that. So that's gonna be a really good avenue for cards. If they grade though sports cards as hard as they grade trading cards, I probably can't send them anything because they are tough on the Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. I might have to sign up for CGC because Beckett and PSA don't have any open tiers. I think PSA actually only has the basic tier open right now when it comes to their memberships, and it just makes me so sad because I'm like, damn it. Like, I'm
Yeah,
going to get to the point where I am going to start sending in bulk. So I might, well, no, sending many cards to get graded. So I might as well just get a membership. I mean, I'm going to like it. I'm going to appreciate the value in it and having it, and then the access to all that data. But
One of the things too that's nice about PSA, there's good things about all of them, but what's nice about PSA is they don't charge you for the grading until basically they're about to send it back to you. You know, where Beckett and CGC, they charge you as soon as they receive it and process it into their system. You get charged up front. Where at PSA, you get it back 5 days later. You know, so it could sit. That's where I call PSA our savings account. We haven't paid for any of those 15,000 cards that are sitting there, you know, at all, other than the shipping to get it there.
Right.
But we haven't paid any of the grading fees. And when they do charge us, oh man, it's an exciting day because that means we know we're going to get some kind of a box from Newport Beach, and it's going to be great. It's going to be filled with PSA slabs. And, you know, based on the stuff that we graded, sometimes it's going to be, you know, 150 dugongs, but at least, you know, at least we have them back. So
exactly.
But it's still a lot of fun. But what's nice, yeah, like I said about them, is they don't charge you up front. So as long as you have, you know, the money later, you're going to be able to sell a portion of whatever you get back and pay for all the grading.
Right, 100%. And you say this 8-month waiting period that, like, it hurts my heart because it just takes so long. But, you know, it just kind of, it is what it is. I don't know if this is a rumor. And I know a few folks that have particular feelings on it, but a rumor about PSA modernizing their setup in the sense that they've kind of are trying to automate their grading. I don't know where that came from. I find that to be interesting, though. I know some people are, you know, they don't like the idea of that because they think they rigged the system, because once you can replicate that, you know, once you can replicate that automated system, it's not going to be good. But
PSA is interesting because it's a publicly traded company. So they actually do, they have quarterly meetings that they have to post audio on investor sites. So those are really interesting for me, is just because they talk about a lot of the innovation they're looking to do. And they've mentioned stuff about, like, you know, automating some of the stuff like centering and corners and stuff where a computer could analyze it. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be a real person doing it. And at the end of the day, a lot of the problem is still, you know, they're receiving way more packages than they could ever possibly hope to grade in a day. You know, so, you know, in the last quarterly report I listened to was in August. They actually have another one, I think, coming up next Friday, if I'm not mistaken. But it's sometime within the next week or two. They were 2 million cards behind in August, and it's only increased. And, you know, a regular person, a regular grader, they can only grade, you know, 700 to 1,000 cards a day.
Right.
You know, so they're grading things that they received back in March and April right now. So you're hoping that, like, you know, the package that we got back, actually, we sent in June, and they only checked it in August. It was this fluky one, or they must have just pulled it off the shelf and graded it. But, you know, other than us getting just dirt lucky with getting that package back, you know, it's going to take a while on the PSA, but for me, it's worth it. The patience, the waiting time is worth it. It's going to be a great savings account for when we get it back. We have some really cool stuff that we sent out that we wish we had sent to BGS at this point, you know, because, like, we would have had it back, we would have sold it. But at the same time, the prices have gone up so much that, you know, we're happy that it's been sitting there, because we would have sold it by now anyway. So at least now we have it for a while.
Oh, now everything's forcing you to kind of sit on stuff. So
exactly.
Oh, dang it went up in price. Gosh darn.
I know. As long as it doesn't go down too much, we're okay.
It may be possible that there's more stuff at grading in the overall market than there is available for sale. Like, there may be, I mean, PSA might be sitting on $1 billion worth of Pokemon.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it just very well, there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff coming back. You know, watch those population reports. They're going to grow, but the demand has grown beyond what, you know, there's more than one person that wants, you know, there's 60, you know, first edition fossil magnetons, you know, PSA 10. The demand is, you know, 1,000 times higher than that. So we're fine if the populations grow. You know, Zion Williamson had, you know, 100,000 of his cards were graded in his rookie year between all the different companies and the different cards he had. 100,000 of them. And that's just one player in the NBA, and prices, you know, prices in the market overall for basketball kind of dipped the last couple months when the season ended. But overwhelmingly, there is plenty of demand for these items. I don't think Pokemon's any different. I think people, I mean, I'm not opposed to owning 10 of the same card in the same grade. You know what I mean? And that's where everybody's like, well, supply and demand. It's like, well, look at Gary from Pawn Stars. The guy owns that many himself, and he doesn't have a want to sell them to anybody else. So when you have a card that maybe will double or triple in population, I think there's going to be an individual. You see these guys that only collect Dragonite, only collect Charizard, only collect Charmander, War Turtle, Blastoise, whatever it is. There's going to be a guy that will be sit there, and if he thinks he's getting a discount, maybe 80% or 90% of retail price, he's going to just buy them all and sit on them. So I don't see this worry where people are worried about, hey, there's going to be this influx of stuff coming back from PSA that's going to drive the prices down, because the demand is just absolutely so much higher than that supply.